Now, suffering in trading is not getting what we desire. And the pain and the suffering that ends up interrupting our edge when we take an inevitable loss and deviates us from our trading plan, that's what we need to learn to overcome. So how do we overcome that suffering? How do we overcome that painful loss that usually takes us away from our trading plan? As a trader, what we have in our mind typically is this desire and attachment to the win. And it's not only the dollar amount, it's not only the percentage, but it's everything we associate to that win. Traders, what they do is they build up this story in their mind that if I take this win, I'm going to make this amount of money, this amount of percentage. It's going to bring me all this benefit in my life. It's going to help me pay rent. It's going to help me get payouts. It's going to help me get status in my community among my friends. It's maybe going to help me get a new funded account. And we create these greeds and these fantasies in our mind. And then what happens is we become attached to those certain outcomes and to those desires on every individual trade. And whether we're consciously aware of it or not, we have these expectations at the back of our mind and we're expecting it. So when the inevitable loss comes around, because we're so attached to this positive experience, the moment we get the inevitable loss, we experience the pain and the suffering. And that's what the pain and suffering is. It's the unmet expectations. It's the unmet desires. It's the unmet attachment. It's not getting what we desire. So as a trader, if we want to be able to let our sample space play out, and we want to let our edge play out on each individual trade so that we can approximate our edge and we can end up profitable at the end of the large sample space, what we have to do is we have to learn to transcend outcome-based thinking to process-based thinking. The truth is, winning an individual trade is what I call a false form of winning. Because you can take an individual trade, you can be profitable in that individual trade, but that's not what profitable trading is. Profitable trading is about consistently pulling money out of the market over maybe every 3 months or every year. You're consistently extracting money from the market. And just having one big winning trade is not the true form of winning. The true form of winning is sticking to your trading plan and your process over a large sample space, letting your edge play out, and every 3 months to a year extracting profits from the market. Yet traders get caught up and they become so attached and desired to the individual outcome, the short-term thinking, and they become attached to this false form of winning that it actually stunts their growth to having true winning. Because what happens is they perceive themselves taking a big win and they're very happy by that. They go on the boom cycle, and then when the inevitable losses come around, they think something's wrong. They spiral out of control like I was explaining before. So as a trader, if you want to have true winning and consistent payouts and consistent profitability over the long run, you have to learn to remove the attachment and the desire to the winning on each individual trade, the false winning. And you have to learn to focus on process-based thinking. That's the only way out of this cycle of boom and bust. Extreme pleasure when you're winning, elation, and then depression when you take the inevitable loss, which keeps you in the form and the cycle of boom and bust. It keeps you in a cycle of chasing your own tail. So how is it you actually implement this? The way you implement and transition out of outcome-based thinking to process-based thinking is by firstly becoming aware of what you're attached to and desiring in that individual trade. It's about becoming aware of that and identifying that in the moment, and then grounding those attachments and expectations. Becoming aware of what you're desiring and seeking from that individual trade, and then reminding yourself a simple truth, that the market on the individual outcome is unpredictable. There are millions, if not billions, of factors influencing price at any point in time. No individual knows what all those factors are, and no individual certainly knows how each of those factors is going to impact the price at that point of time. So you want to remind yourself and humble yourself, and in that moment, bring to your awareness that you have no idea what's going to happen on this individual trade. And then also remind yourself that you don't need to. What's important is sticking to your processes and trading plan over the large sample space. And you want to visualize both the win and the loss on that individual trade, and you being undeterred by both, you not being impacted or emotionally affected by either win or a loss, because you know you made the right decision in sticking to your trading plan on that individual trade. And if you do that 100 times, if not 1,000 times, you know you'll be a true winner, a consistently profitable trader.